What's up, folks? My name is Bingsy. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. In this video, we're actually going to be discussing Chelsea off the pitch. So we're not going to be discussing players or coaches on the pitch, but rather we're going to focus on the people who are running the club off the pitch. I think it's a good idea sometimes to take off those blue tinted glasses and really do some real talk with you folks. And that's what I'd like to do today. I've identified a few fundamental flaws and things going wrong in the background, and I'd like to share that with you today. But the aim of this video is not just to spread uncertainty or doubt or anything like that. My aim for this video is to actually identify what's going wrong at this club, why it's going wrong, and how we can fix it or how we can address it. So stay tuned, let's kick in. Now, there's only one place to start, isn't there, folks? And that's with the Todd father, Todd Boehly. His search for a sporting director at Chelsea goes on and on and on. This has got to be one of the most public and frantic recruitment operations in the history of football. Since he has joined Chelsea, his search for players or executives, it's just been way too public. And Todd, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot over here, my man. This is not how it's done in the European market. There's different cultures here, different nationalities, different languages. There's super agents involved. And either Todd is leaking all this information to the journos to get good press or good public image for Chelsea, or Todd's just picking up the phone and cold calling. But whatever he's doing, this is not sustainable. We need to be a little bit more secretive. We need to be a little bit more sustained behind the scenes. And it's not going to help you, Todd, to just go out there and leak all this information to the public or to the press, as it's not really going to motivate your candidates to actually take the role. Let's use a hypothetical scenario. Let's say someone reaches out to you to interview you for a role at a company. And before the interview, you find out that that company has gone ahead in the market and interviewed tons of candidates before you. You're not going to feel motivated to take the role, or you're not going to feel that burning desire to interview well for the role, because either way, you're going to think you're not special, or you're going to think that these guys can't hire anyone because no one wants to join them. Now, we've got to cut old mate Todd some slack over here. He's just recently started learning about football. I mean, this guy probably holds the Guinness Book of World Record for the fastest completion time of the book Football for Dummies. So he's just recently started learning about football. This mode of operation will improve in time. But Todd, keep it under the wraps. Keep it on the DL. Do not make all of your movements public. Todd's definitely that guy, isn't he? You know that one guy you have in your social group, that one guy who's always on Tinder, who's always scrolling left and right on Tinder and telling you how many matches he's getting. Oh, I've got so many matches on Tinder. How many dates have you been on? Oh, I haven't been on any dates as of yet. We don't need to know how many matches you have, Todd. Come back to me when you are in a meaningful relationship. Thank you. Next one on the list is Damien Willoughby. This guy, ladies and gentlemen, what an absolute idiot. This guy has gone ahead and done some sexting with Catalina Kim. Yes, Catalina Kim, one of the most loudest people on Twitter. Catalina Kim, if you don't remember, was the same person during Nick Candy's bid for Chelsea who was very loud on Twitter and who was speaking to fans about how much Chelsea means to her and what kind of plans she has for Chelsea and what kind of consortium she has in the background. So, Willoughby, you are a sleazeball, but what did you expect out of this, really? Like, you're flirting with one of the loudest people on Twitter. What did you think would come out of this? How did you think this would end? That's like me going on a date with a Kardashian and expecting it to be a secret. It doesn't work like that. There's going to be pictures on TMZ the next morning for sure. That's not how this works. So now Willoughby's got the sack, and Tom Glick, the president of football at Chelsea, Mr. President, has a job to do ahead of him. He's probably going to go back in and have to hire a new commercial director, but a shot in the foot from Tom Glick, and he's going to have to go back to the drawing board. Now, the next one on the list is no laughing matter at all. In fact, it's quite serious. Back in June, we lost one of the members of the Chelsea marketing team, and allegedly the cause of that death was because of bullying and harassment at the workplace at Chelsea Football Club. I've heard quite a few times now Boehly mentioning he wants to change the culture of this club. Todd, I think one of the first places to put on your list for that culture shift is the marketing team itself. A quick scan on LinkedIn shows me that we have the same head of marketing, the same director of marketing, and allegedly it was the director of marketing in this case, Gary Twelvetree, who was involved in the poor mental health of this Chelsea employee. And I don't know what exactly happened to cause such a horrible incident at Chelsea Football Club. But when I analyze it, if someone lost their life because of bullying and harassment in a certain workplace and there's been no structural changes after that, then there's something wrong with that. And this needs to be addressed as soon as possible. And I'd just like to add to that as well, for anyone watching this video, anyone who feels like perhaps they're going through a bit of a tough time right now, you are loved and you're very much appreciated. Do not hesitate to pick up the phone and have a conversation with someone. Okay, we're going to move on to the data science team. Now, something we keep on hearing since Bowley's been in charge is that we want to become a very data-driven organization. And being data-driven is not a new concept at all whatsoever, folks. Every club, every company, every organization out there, one of their top priorities is to become data-driven. So this is something that should not be new to Chelsea Football Club. But perhaps Todd's trying to bring in some new machine learning or AI to his decision making at the club or to the club's or team's tactics on the field. And something I'd like to share with you is that Chelsea was actually recruiting for a lead data scientist back in July. So they advertised publicly that they're looking for a data scientist. And I did some research and it seems we still haven't brought in anyone for that role. A quick scan on LinkedIn shows me that the last time we hired a data scientist at Chelsea was back in April 2021. So it's been a long time, and even though the recruitment process for the players and for the executives seems to be very frantic and very fast-paced, this recruitment process for the data science team is taking quite a long time. Perhaps they haven't found the right person yet, or maybe they're looking to implement some new technologies, or there's been some sort of developments in the background that we don't know about, but it seems we haven't brought on anyone for the data science role, and this is going to be critical to our success. As we've found out in this new modern day and age of football, it's not about how much cash you can splash because everyone has money now in the EPL. It's about how self-sufficient you can become and how data-driven you actually are and how much you're using and leveraging the whole team in the background as a club. So this new data scientist is going to play a very key role in the fortunes of the club, and hopefully we'll bring them on board very soon. Last but not least is our public relations team, and our PR team can actually learn from quite a few mistakes that they've made this year. The first one being putting Tuchel forward to put out statements during the sale of the club. When the new ownership was coming in, essentially there was barely any sort of statements made by the PR team, and it was essentially all on Tuchel. And I hope the PR team learned from that, because that was a bad angle, that was a bad tactic, that should never have been done. There was more transparency required, especially for the fans, but also for the press as well. There was a lot of question marks, and I hope they learned from that. And just recently, we've also seen Christian Pulisic announced that he's coming out with a book about his career so far, and unfortunately he's made some comments about Tuchel, stating that he was very unhappy at how Tuchel treated him before the Champions League final, where he had promised him a place but didn't play him. Now, this should never be allowed. This is a grave error made by the PR team. They should have done a first read on this book before it was published. This book is due to be released next month, and I think we need to hire some specific publicist. Not much to be done on the PR front, but there are some lessons to be learnt this year, and I hope we portray a decent image of Chelsea going forward. Well, that's about it, folks. I'm going to wrap this video up. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree with my opinions. Smash the like button if you like the content, and I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for watching the video. I'm going to love and leave you, and until next time, peace.